In embarrassing news from Capitol Hill, it was unveiled today that Senator Mitch McConnell's hesitancy towards approving a stimulus package stems from his belief that the bill is for his monthly strip club expenditures. Well, if you wanted honesty, you've come to the wrong place. Cunnilingus and cum dumpstery. Yes, that is what we're at here.
Ooh, I love it.
It is not cola, it is cock.
Coca-Cola.
Time to whip it out and start tucking.
The power of the mic compels you.
Much like cock, I need one. And at this point, you can smell the Caucasian through your speakers.
You're screaming, I scream.
I think I missed half of the references, but I understood the point.
Dim-witted dunderfuck. This is the Disinformed podcast. I'm Shane.
I'm John.
I'm Michael.
I'm Corny.
And this is the new year. And I definitely have started to feel different.
Yes, you are broken. You are...
And not just emotionally anymore. I have moved on to the real thing.
Yes.
Ascended.
Ain't nothing like the real thing, baby.
Yeah, so you're broken. Courtney's extended family tried to murder her, but they failed because it's Courtney.
It's hard to take me out.
We've called the karma police.
What is it? Heaven can't have her and hell don't want her? Is that what it is?
So Jonah's got me. It's the whole thing.
She's the queen bitch of hell.
Well, I'm glad that you're at least here and you sound fine. You look like your normal great self. But you did have a little run-in with the
I've had 3 COVID tests in the last week, so I just want to kill myself.
Have they put one in every hole yet?
Yeah, almost. I mean, we're getting really close to having all of my orifices tested. We're going to be really sure.
Why is it that your fantasy always manages to just bleed into our conversations, John?
I was going to say that for your final COVID test, you should just ask them, like, can you just do it all at once? That's the ultimate test.
You know, what's funny is Melissa actually shared something with me a few weeks back that said they are actually training dogs to be able to smell COVID, and they have developed a test where they can test your earwax.
Okay.
In order to gauge whether or not you are carrying.
No.
They just come with their bare pinky and they scoop and they do a little...
Scoop it out. The coke nail. Just take a little bump of your earwax. Oh, yep, you got it. I'm sorry.
Oh, I got a little bit of residual coke, too. That's nice.
Sweet.
Start rubbing it on their gums. Not sure you're supposed to do that, sir. This is a Wendy's.
Sorry, yeah. A cashier to a patient. Well, future patient.
Imagine that job application.
How much do you know about earwax? Okay, you're hired.
I have tasted the Birdie Bot's every flavor bean. I mean,
You actually have.
Favorite.
Hey, wasn't that something that you talked about having us do at some point in the future?
We'll do either that or the Bean Boozled on camera and just torture ourselves for everyone's amusement. Yeah, I've been doing it for years.
I hope I get a shit flavored one.
John, your life is a shit flavored bean.
It's supposed to be beans that you don't like.
Oh,
Yeah.
then
He'll like them all, so...
I still hope for a shit flavored one.
Speaking of which, speaking of beans that are far from shitty, however, I'm going to unveil that John, in spite of the masquerade, is a decent and loving human being. Because I have been enjoying his birthday present. He sent me some custom coffee beans that I have been enjoying, and the dark matter has taken over my soul. So thank you for that.
You're very welcome. What's the bag that you just got? Because I think I got a different one.
It is Old Dank Nick.
Okay, I got it's a Guns N' Roses pun.
The Warm November Rain.
Yes, that's the one that I got.
That's what I got for the November month. Which
maybe I'm a month behind then.
It's delectable, my friend. If you have not already busted it out, it's fantastic.
I'm getting close here.
Okay, well, I didn't mean to commandeer, but I just wanted to thank you publicly for being a beautiful human being, in spite of the fact that I do not do presents.
Oh, I seldom do either, but that is a good segue because my husband, his birthday was yesterday to this recording, and I didn't know that until I saw Courtney's beautiful post, which I spammed that flame button.
You're always flaming out, John.
But I was talking to Becky. I was like, yeah, I really want to get him something, and she goes, yeah, well, I ordered. Oh, spoilers, Courtney, you have a belated Christmas gift coming your way.
Aw.
From Becky. It's actually, it was 100% my idea. I take all the credit for it. But we're talking about things to get Jonah, and I always blank on Mr. Jonah. I thought maybe we'd get him booze
Oh.
or beer, but then I was like, well, I'm not going to go buy something and then just drop it. Well, I could, but I mean, I could find a gift card. Anywho, I hope Jonah had a great birthday. I was thinking about him the entire day.
I'm sure you were working on getting his pressure release valve tuned up properly with your mouse.
I was, and I texted him, and I made sure to let him know, because I guess he had to work last night.
Yep, you did.
I made sure to let him know that if anybody gave him a hard time, that I would kill for him to have a happy birthday, and just I would kamikaze in there if I needed to. Luckily, I guess I wasn't needed, but I was ready.
You should do that anyway. It'd be great fun.
I have on the spur of the moment, or sperm of the moment, to borrow from Shame.
You're welcome.
Shame. Shame hunt.
Yes, he's about to get in sheer blown, apparently. So
yes, I was like, Becky, how expensive is that restaurant? Like, can we just bop in? And she was just like, I don't think it's a bop in restaurant. Like, you kind of got to like make a plan. Like, it has to be part of your day.
It's not a bopper.
Yeah. Is that right?
Yeah, you have to reserve a seat, and it's $20 a person just to reserve the seat. And then they put that towards your meal.
Okay. So I'm too poor for that restaurant.
It's not the Chuck E. Cheese ball pit, my friend. You can't just dive into it.
It's funny, though, because Jonah actually, he got up early the other night and almost went out and saw you. And then he was like, wait, no, he still works at a bar, and it's still Corona time. So actually, I'm just going to go home.
But, I mean... Again, like we're making some good ground here now. Hopefully down the line that is a reality where he can get done with work and come see me, and I can take a break in the back room, and he can follow me into the back room, and then follow me into the other back room, if you catch my meaning.
Well, it won't take long. She already said he comes early, or he gets off early. I'm sorry, I misquoted.
How dare you? I'm Michael.
Oh, good.
Well, here's another. Not angry reminder, but here's another reminder to all of you. And Courtney, you haven't read the book, and I don't think it's probably the appropriate time for you to watch it. But The Stand is 2 episodes deep right now, and despite it being review bombed to all fucking hell, it's really enjoyable, and I think it's really well done. The main criticism that it's receiving, after people just get over the fact that actors and actresses got the role and they didn't want that actor or actress to get the role because they beat their husband, allegedly. Amber Heard.
Oh, yeah.
All right.
Which I'm not. That was a joke.
Even I knew that one, Michael. Come on.
Well, no, I forgot that she was in The Stand. I know.
Yeah,
about
I
that.
had no
I
idea.
forgot she was in The Stand.
I forgot she exists.
Same. And I was like, has that bitch always been this fine? Because yeah, she's always been. I was like, is there titty pictures of her online? And she was like, I'm pretty sure there is. I was like, how would you know? Do you look at titty pictures online? It was great.
She's trying to distract herself from life with you. Yes,
probably. The main criticism it's receiving is that it's told very non-linearly. So it starts like they flash forward to like the Boulder settlement.
Okay.
And then they'll flash back and flush out individual characters' stories that you see in the book. But,
all right.
So the main complaint is like, if you haven't read the book or you haven't seen the original miniseries, it might not make much sense on the first go around. I was like, well, that's not really an issue. They're calling it like sloppy writing. I was like, it's not sloppy writing. It's literally like, it's some like most, I would say like 80% of each episode is taken right from the book, and it's great.
Again, I frequently follow in this quote, and why I always use the term
taste is subjective.
Advocacy more than anything is those who can't do criticize. So we live in a world where everyone just is slavering for their opinion to be heard and for someone to, give a seal of approval. And I just don't, if you're entertained by it, watch it. If you're not, tap out. What is the point of lambasting it and running around screaming that you hate it?
Yeah. One more thing about it and I'll move on.
I mean, it's not like 11/22/63 where I have every right in the world to say that I hate it. And
that was god awful. This is like a breath of fresh air coming off of watching that.
Well, you're also, Shane, you're not like shouting that to the heavens. I asked for your opinion, which totally entitles you to give it 100% of it. So that's
thank you for bailing me out.
Yes.
I appreciate that.
I will say that when I was reading the book, I did not picture Heather Graham in there at all, and she plays Rita. So Larry Underwood's like little flame, and then you see her. That's gonna
be weird.
You see her in context, and you're like, oh, I guess she is old enough now to be there.
Yeah, it makes sense. It's actually it's good casting. Now that I look at it in bright relief.
Oh, you know what? Amber Heard is Nadine.
Oh,
that makes all the sense in the world given the context.
Yeah,
so
yeah,
yes,
so
they cast really well.
And that's why I was like, oh, so we get to see Amber Heard get pounded in the butt?
Here's hoping.
And Becca's like, huh? That was in the book?
You haven't made it that far yet, apparently. Oh. Well, if
it's King. He likes kinky shit.
I will Sigourney segue from that to the other side of our Dark Lord, Dr. King. I have to stop saying that because someone's going to get really upset at me at one point because Stephen King's not a doctor, depending upon where you're looking.
Yeah, fuck him.
I just watched The Outsider yesterday whilst I was kicked up with my feet up.
I heard it's good.
It's really fantastic for all of the, the shortcomings that I aimed at 11/22/63. I really enjoyed The Outsider.
Nice.
It has been my favorite book since Dr. Sleep that I've read in sequence, I should say. 11/22/63 has been published since then, but I digress.
Right.
Show's really cool. All of the things that they needed to do in order to fit the visual medium actually made sense. And Dennis Lehane is the one who did the teleplay, so it makes sense when you have another writer who's augmenting. He did Mystic River and some other really, fun crime procedurals.
Okay, yeah, I'm not familiar.
But great stuff. If you have an opportunity to check it out, please do so, because I really, particularly the depiction of Holly Gibney is fantastic for those who enjoy Mr. Mercedes as a series, and gives me hope that Let It Bleed might actually manifest, or if it bleeds. Sorry, jeez Louise.
Yeah, stop trying to cry what you want.
Just need a little relief, man.
Yeah. Well, that's good. Every time I think that the list is shortening on things that I want to read from King, it just blows up further. So I'm past the most heartbreaking part, I hope, of Dark Tower, which I'm I was gonna say, like, I know it's probably just like James Cameron describing aliens. It's just 20 miles of bad road ahead of me right now.
Yeah, you need to have a lot of hankies handy, my friend, in order to sort out that last
first
book.
Time a book ever actually squeezed some tears out of me was the Katet breaking. And that's enough of that nerdy shit. Do you guys want a couple stories from a regular human bartender?
Oh no,
I'm always down for those.
That's all I ever want.
It's a really interesting segue, my friend.
Well, Courtney got me onto the TV version or TV show version of What We Do in the Shadows, and when one of the characters is hiding away as a bartender, he describes himself as a regular human bartender, and I really, really like that.
He's from Tucson, Arizona.
I thought you were contrasting.
Yeah,
I thought you were contrasting that it was nerd shit and then regular bartender life. So you were.
Oh yeah, I don't know.
Okay.
I'm pretty sure that I smelled what crack smells like for the first time. Or meth, or
Dude,
one of the ones that you do.
You've eaten butt so many times. I'm fairly certain you're familiar with crack.
It's 2020. Come on.
I wasn't begrudging the point. Just
so I like that. Part of like my home life is like I get to like not try the stories out, but like I'll tell the stories to Becky like just off the cuff, like as I would tell them, and she like kind of like steers me into like some better verbiage. So I'm working and it's a slower night, and we see this, we'll call it, if we need to edit it, we can. Is trailer
suddenly
trash? Can I say trailer trash?
You can. I was like, suddenly me breaking bones sounds like a far more entertaining story.
We see this woman who could only be described as like trailer trash, like straight out of Joe Dirt. Like,
did she have meth mouth?
No, she had worse than meth mouth, which
Sam
was
has
put
left the
together
episode.
post meth mouth.
Oh no!
Ooh.
But yeah, she kind of, oh, you know what? You'd appreciate this, Shane. I described her as like, she looked like that bitch from House of a Thousand Corpses. She looked like a mama firefly looking motherfucker.
Okay.
Like that paints a picture.
Yes, it does.
For people that know the reference. And she starts beelining
Karen
into the
Black,
bathroom.
thank you.
Yes. She starts beelining it to the bathroom, which everyone that works in that area, or like you, anywhere you work, if they're beelining it to the bathroom and they look like that, they just want to use it to do fucking drugs. Or there's usually not any other purpose. So my coworker heads her off and he's like, hey, can I help you with something? She goes, oh, I'm just going to use the bathroom, then I'm going to sit down and have a pint. We're like, fuck, fine. Like, you can't really, push back on that, within reason. It's not like she was walking in like screaming and, dropping big words and shit. So she's in the bathroom for like 10 fucking minutes. And then she gets out and surprisingly enough, like sits at the bar, pulls out like a laptop that's fully functioning. Like I can actually see the screens turning on. It's not just some meth head, like, pretending that they have things.
Like Michael.
And then she starts erratically
type here.
Yeah. She starts erratically jumping from the bar to a corner table where she's since plugged in an iPad. And she keeps jumping between these two tables. So I run over to her, I was like, hey, you can just take the table. Like, take the table with the plugs. That's fine. There's no reason for you to keep jumping up without your mask on. And, going between. Like, if we can situate it, then, she's following the rules after we tell her to. And that's all that we need to know.
Right.
Now, I've had a little bit of experience in the past with people like this. So the next thing that I do is I'm like, oh, I'm going to go check that bathroom that she was in, because like, I'm fine. You're trying to find reasons to like make this situation like de-escalate it before it has a chance to even blow up. And when I walk into that bathroom, holy shit, it was the most chemically, like, I can't describe well, like how it smelled, but it was definitely something.
Having never done crack. Yeah.
Yeah. So I'm checking the trash, like the bathroom's still immaculate. And I was like, well, at least you didn't like treat it like shit. To kind of try and like fast forward through the story a little bit, she kept acting strange. We're trying to find reasons, or trying to find ways to be like, do we shut this down? Do we get her out? Like, just kick her out just because we're not comfortable? Like, it's not a crime to be weird. She's not really truly affecting anyone around her. She left us a card. Her name is Rainbow, by the way.
Yeah, it is.
So, gonna see when the Star Stealers show up after as well.
Now, so where it got interesting, and this encounter just gets stranger and stranger, is we've noticed at a certain point that there is like a 12 by 12 box on our patio. And I didn't see her drop it off. We don't know. We didn't see anybody drop this box off. We'd assumed maybe it was like there was a group on the patio. Maybe it was their box. But that group had since left and it was still there. So I went out and checked with people around. I was like, hey, is that yours? And since our garage doors are open, she yells, oh no, that's mine. So she just has this random ass 12 by 12 box hanging out on the patio. She's been acting strange. People are like, keep looking over like, look at the tweaker, like it's starting to become a spectacle. She runs up to me suddenly and she goes, hey, my friend is across the street at the Walgreens and their phone doesn't work. Can I just leave all of my stuff and my card? I'll just leave my card and I'll leave my stuff. And then I'm going to run across the street and I'll bring them over. And I was like, nah, we're not doing that. I was like, we're not leaving your stuff here. She's like, I don't understand. I was like, especially not the box on our patio. Like, we're not leaving anything. Like,
we're not accountable for anything that you own.
We're not comfortable with that. So she gets flustered. She goes outside and waves whoever down. And this big black dude gets out of this car and just with no fanfare just picks up the box, puts the box into his trunk, and then just waits in his car. And Miss Little Tweaker settles out her tab. Within 5 minutes, is gone. And that was probably one of the more bizarre little tweakers that I've seen in our store. And I don't actually get that many, thankfully. But when they show up, they make an impression.
Yipes.
Now, this next one is way shorter, and I've been thinking about it for 2 days because that's when it happened. And the only reason I bring it up is because I wanted to run it by all of you guys and just see what you think. But it was another slow night. The post-holiday sleepies are a real deal. This group, they had to be like early 20s, like probably between 22 to 26, and there's 7 of them. And so yeah, a few couples and lingers, hangers on, and they prefaced it to us like, hey, we haven't seen each other in a really long time. Like, this is our first time being in the same room with each other in a very good long while. Whether or not I care to judge that. It's irrelevant. So they're really pleasant, and it's really kind of like, it's heartwarming because they have the place basically to themselves. And a couple rounds go by, and all of a sudden things start getting weird at their table. Like we can't make out everything that they're saying, but from my estimation, from the few things that I heard, because they were talking about like gender politics when I passed at one point, and they were talking about racially charged politics at a certain point. I think I referred to it lovingly as the woke Olympics at that table.
Oh, okay.
Where it seemed like they hadn't seen each other in a long time, and they were very like stereotypical roles in their friend group dynamic that I think we've all been a part of or a party to. And suddenly this dude stands up and he yells, he's like, "You don't even fucking know me anymore." And he walks, and he's gone from the story. And like everyone at the table then is like kind of like, "Oh my God, Jeremy just left." And I don't know. I said it again, it's sarcastic, but I said to my coworker, it's like, "See, man, when you play the woke Olympics, nobody wins." Nobody wins the woke Olympics. And I know that we've kind of touched on that like here and there in our show. But
Survivor,
Shane,
the home game.
Well, yeah. Well, Shane came immediately to mind, where it's like, I'm not playing the game on who can be the most culturally sensitive just for the sake of saying things just to make sure that someone heard me say it.
Yeah.
But yeah, I don't know. Subjectivity came to mind. I don't know. I needed the Shane on my shoulder for that moment. Like if I could have like just like phoned a friend and been like, "Hey, can I send you this clip straight from my brain?" And
it's as though they're running through life expecting the PlayStation achievement sound to go off as they complete missions in their everyday experiences.
Yeah.
They're like, "Oh, good, I got one. Yeah."
Or it's like the we've talked about the chick who, here's how to live in your car, but she's not really living out of her car. She's just crashing at different people's houses and using their showers, but claiming that she lives off the land.
Yeah, context is dramatically different when you look like Brad Pitt versus looking like me and talk about living on the kindness of strangers. It kind of recontextualizes how people treat you and approach you and interact with you. Like, okay.
Right. But anyway, those are my couple random things that just happened over the past few days or past week.
Well, thank you for sharing. As always, shards from the bar are always a very real thing that we appreciate here.
Yeah, what have you guys been up to? Except for breaking yourself and, having 17 COVID tests. Michael, we haven't checked in with you.
I got a Switch, and I've been playing Breath of the Wild, and that's pretty much all I've been doing aside from my research, so very boring. But I'm okay with that.
No arguments there.
Yeah, nothing wrong with like hard down relaxing.
Mm-hmm.
Courtney, what have you been doing with your time debating whether or not you're dying?
Not a whole lot. I've been binging trashy Netflix that's like geared towards like 19-year-old girls, and that's been really fun. And cross-stitching, and that's about it. I don't really do anything. I did read an article today that was interesting about monetizing a podcast, but I don't really feel like that's relevant to what we're doing right now, so...
None of that here.
We don't monetize.
If you really want someone who cares, just send that over to Michael. He likes to read things, too.
Welcome back to another edition of Screaming in an Echo Chamber. And speaking of which... On the off chance that this is your first foray into this tasty little podcast, allow us to introduce ourselves. What we typically do here is we will delve into a random esoteric topic, and in the midst of explaining it to one another, we will leaven in the occasional lie just to keep things interesting, and it is incumbent on the co-hosts to call out the lies as they see, smell, taste, or touch them, and in hopes that they will not get any points and no one will win because we are certified losers here.
Losers forever.
So this evening's exploits are going to revolve around a fairly appropriate topic given the time of year. We are going to discuss Baby New Year.
Oh, I forgot.
Yeah, I did too.
Like the movie version, or is there like actual lore around this?
Oh, there's lore. It's about to get interesting.
Someone call
Speaking
Vadi
of which, I snagged, because I'm trying to support cinema in whatever way I can, so I snagged that HBO Now thing, and had to watch Wonder Woman 84 when it came out, because I dig on things like that.
How was it?
And it's good. I like it. Again, I'm an easy person. I enjoyed Green Lantern, for pity's sake. So I mean, it's hard to beat me away from DC films. They have to try real hard to alienate me. But it was entertaining. I enjoyed it. I wept like a small child at points in it. And so I'm a mark.
Par for the course.
It's not hard to manipulate. But in the midst of that, we were looking through, they have Studio Ghibli is a part of their material that is contained there. And of course, the Tanuki film was present. And I was scrolling through and I showed Melissa. She's like, "Are those actually testicles?" I was like, "Yep, those are balls." That's a real.
What do you got against
thing.
balls, Melissa?
She doesn't. She can't get away from them. It's like a high school play curtain she can't get out of.
God.
It's like fighting it in bed. You know that scene in Fire in the Sky where they drape the thing over his face and then put the jelly in his mouth? That's what it looks like when my testicles get whipped around. It's just dangerous for all involved parties. Anyway.
Confirm.
So, going from grotesqueries of nudity to really fun and playful nudity, Baby New Year.
Just whipping his dick out.
I'm going to indicate up front, there are 3 lies in this, so, you don't have to brace too much. And just sit back, relax, and enjoy the merriment.
Okay.
A cherubic infant in a top hat, sash, and diaper, Baby New Year is an avatar of optimism as the clock ticks down to midnight on the 31st of December. According to some Christian scholars, however, the festively clad infant's history may hold a more tragic meaning than we would typically attribute to it. The black-capped toddler has been a holiday staple since the dawn of the 20th century, when the Saturday Evening Post began publishing humorous illustrations of babies on the cover of its year-end editions. The magazine covers even inspired grown-ups to dress like infants on New Year's Eve in frequently ill-fated attempts to be the life of the party.
Right,
some of
inspired.
I will include at the end of this little presentation, just so we can all bask in their glory.
I feel like they already liked dressing up in a diaper, and it was the perfect reason, the perfect excuse.
Well, I mean, the best reason to wear a dye is so that when you poop or pee, you can just do so on the go freely.
I thought you were going to say when you wear the dye, you can poo-poo and pee-pee, all you can free.
The way of the dye.
It's not just for the easy storage after the fact, John?
No, I mean,
then he's got a nice little pouch to eat from.
Exactly.
I was going to say, with a 2, it's like having a snack pack at all times.
Yeah, okay.
So basically, you're living in a still suit, for those who have read Dune. If you say die one more time, I'm going to hope I die. So just
you've done it. You've said it 2 times. If I say it 3 more times, one will magically appear on all of us.
For some reason, anytime I think of Baby New Year, I also think of like 6-button Logan. So
now I just have a picture of Logan as Baby New Year.
As well, you should.
That's all the buttons.
Although the Saturday Evening Post ended its New Year's Baby series in 1943, the pint-sized personification of time's passage continues to loom large in pop culture. He has starred in holiday TV specials and taken the stage with legendary musicians. To this day, intrepid revelers still sip bubbly and sing Auld Lang Syne clad in diapers and sashes. And not just for the easy storage capacity, as John has alluded to.
Snack pack, please.
TM.
All right, Pudding Pop. Try to Cosby this thing. The Baby New Year is a personification of the start of the new year, commonly seen in editorial cartoons, symbolizing the birth of the subsequent year and the passing of the prior year. In other words, a rebirth. Baby New Year's purpose varies by myth, but he generally performs some sort of ceremonial duty over the course of his year, such as chronicling the year's events or presiding over the year as a symbol. So this year's will be a flaming dumpster fire. And it will have a really bad, like, orange wig and just point at everybody and scream about its tiny hands.
They probably do have the same size hands.
Yeah, they do.
And other things. The original Baby New Year was born in ancient Greece, according to Britannica.com. It was reportedly customary for displaying an infant in a basket for the turn of the calendar, informing the Christian mythos surrounding Moses being discovered by the Pharaoh's daughter floating in the basket in the reeds.
Is that all bullshit?
You can't say, is that all bullshit? You got to be a little more specific, friend.
Is the ancient Greece part bullshit?
That is not bullshit, no.
But him saying that means there is bullshit in there. I'm just too lazy.
All right.
But do they display babies in baskets? Is that an actual tradition?
That is an actual tradition, yes. Mm-hmm.
Huh.
No,
by process of elimination. Yeah. Okay, well, good job, John.
Is that based off of Moses? Yeah.
Well, what do you mean? Is it based off of Moses? It's saying Moses is based off of that practice.
Is it a callback to the ancient Greek tradition of Baby New Year?
No.
Okay.
You're welcome.
It's not. Okay.
You just can't throw out, is that all bullshit, and hope that that's just going to get you carte blanche, my friend. I'm sorry.
Shane, everything you said just now, is that bullshit? Is everything you said this today?
Listen, my life is bullshit, and if you need any more proof, this podcast is irrevocably
bullshit
etched into my mind as evidence. During the late 1400s, Germans depicted him as a religious figure signifying Christ. And from this, we find the underpinning theme that has some theologians uneasy about the festive sigil. It is proposed by a revised text from Philip C. Almond, Emeritus Professor of the History of Religious Thought at the University of Queensland, that Baby New Year is intended to serve as a reminder of the New Testament passages regarding the massacre of the innocents. For those of you who may not be familiar, allow me to illustrate.
I'm getting flashbacks to John's very dark interpretation of 1 week. I don't know why. That was the first thing that came to mind. Where it was like, oh, it's nice and happy. No, it was slaughtering innocents.
It's like a latte. There's this froth on the top that everybody pays attention to, and it's the dark and sort of corrosive chemically underpinnings that we're really interested in.
Yeah.
This incident in the nativity narrative of the Gospel of Matthew, which is Matthew chapter 2, verses 16 through 18, for those playing the home game.
You're not saying that in the appropriate affectation.
Yes, I am. It depicts Herod the Great, the king of Judea, ordering the execution of all the male children 2 years old and under in the vicinity of Bethlehem. Almond asserts that while a majority of Herod biographers and probably a majority of biblical scholars hold the event to be myth, legend, or folklore, many in the Catholic Church regard them as the first Christian martyrs. Almond subsequently points to the origin in the Church's adoption of Baby New Year as an iconographic representation of the Feast of the Holy Innocents. This event, established by Pope Leo XIII in 1891, celebrated on the 28th of December, and John, for the good Catholic boy that you are, I'm sure that you'll remember this, commemorates not just the emergence of Christ's divinity in the world, but acknowledges the slaughter of innocents in his name as a sobering reminder of the forces working in opposition of God's will. Thus, as Christ's good works were born out of tragedy, each year we see the sigil of a newborn carrying forward the hope, promise, and love of God into the world despite the darkness it emerges from. The sash, it is argued, is evocative of the swaddling clothes the infant Messiah wore whilst in the manger, while the diaper is a modern inclusion... Sorry, I'm choking to death. I said a lot of... While the diaper is a modern inclusion, apparently for the sake of decency.
You mean no one just wants to see big old baby
your
cock?
snack pack? For dear John.
Great movie.
Yeah, indeed. Well, moving away from the grim, Baby New Year was subsequently secularized by newspaper cartoonists in the 19th century, and he went pop after the Saturday Evening Post put him on the cover, clad in a top hat, to emphasize the more festive feel of the season. Here are some fun facts about the origins of Baby New Year and his enduring appeal as the embodiment of hope that the next 12 months will be better than the last. And we can only hope for this particular year. These are headings that were included in the article that I will reference here, and so some of these are a bit not my style, but what are you going to do?
We'll see.
This is also very dated. I think it was like 2016 where I pulled this article from. So, straight out of Sparta. During the age of Plato and Socrates, or Socrates for the Bill and Ted's aficionados amongst you, Greeks ushered in the new year with celebrations honoring Dionysus, the son of Zeus and god of wine. One of their traditions was placing an infant in a winnowing basket and hoisting the child skyward to represent the birth of Dionysus. Or the rebirth of Dionysus.
Like Simba from Lion King?
Sure.
But in a basket?
A basket?
A basket.
Out there in one of them baskets.
So it was a very fun addition to the Michael School of Proper Pronunciation that I discovered. I think it's Smokey Robinson is doing like these weird messages. I'm forgetting the app that you can send through, but
Cameo? Is that what you're talking? Yeah.
Yes. So he was asked if he could give a shout out to someone who grew up the street from him and help them to celebrate the season. And so he said, well, your son asked me to wish you a happy Chanukah. And I don't know what Chanukah is, but I hope that you have a fun Chanukah, and it's a good Chanukah for all of your family. And I was like, oh God, it's Michael.
Can we sell Michael on Cameo? Can Michael do readings on demand?
I would be so elated if I could write the scripts.
I would if it.
What else would you do if
he charges $350 and it's a 45-minute cameo?
Sex worker, please,
$350 for 45 minutes?
No, $3.50 for 45 minutes because you'd intend to do 45 seconds and then if you remember, the principle that we're going to try to illustrate here is so as ice accumulates from moisture in the air.
But ice is solid water, and water is liquid ice. And then don't get me started about water vapor because that could be gaseous.
All matter's
ice.
Interconnected. We know this.
And then we also have plasma, and plasma is the fourth state of matter that we don't talk about.
I'll get you a tuning fork, but I'm a frog.
Yeah. I'm a hack and a frog.
He's a hack and a
I'm
frog.
The biggest frog ever.
Ribbit.
Just like frog's hair, I don't exist. All right, friends forever. Baby New Year is frequently accompanied by Father Time, a cloaked old man who carries an hourglass and a scythe. He is modeled after Cronus, the father of Zeus in Greek mythology. When Baby New Year was popularized in the 19th century editorial cartoons, Father Time tagged along as his elderly counterpart, a symbol of the passing year. According to the cartoons, Baby New Year ages rapidly over 12 months and by the end of December becomes Father Time.
Is that bullshit?
That
I
is
don't
not.
like it.
Huh. Yeah, that's...
No one does.
Thanks, I hate it.
Yeah.
I didn't make it. I'm shilling it to the masses. Father Texas Time. This one's grand. Willie Nelson's annual New Year's Eve concerts in Austin feature cameos by Baby New Year and Father Texas Time. At midnight, a dreadlocked Father Time makes a grand entrance wearing a long robe and a crown of yellow roses. He gets lowered to the stage in a Texas-themed carriage and hands over a prop hourglass to Baby New Year, a youngster in a white tuxedo and top hat. Father Time's conveyance changes each year. To greet 2015, he descended from the rafters riding a metallic armadillo.
While listening to Metallica's Kill Them All on a boombox.
Yeah, so let it be written. Neuhaus, baby. This is German. I don't have the tongue for it.
Oh, okay.
Probably still pronounced it better than Michael could, even if Michael spoke that language.
Just sound angry.
Neuhaus, baby.
Thank you.
Behind this fleshlich legen. About 500 years ago, the German artisans created New Year's greeting cards with drawings of baby Jesus, according to Christopher Wood, professor of German and department chair at New York University. One of the cards, part of the collection at the National Gallery of Art, depicts a young Jesus riding a donkey with an inscription that translates into, "I bring a good year." I got callback. Over time, the religious baby Jesus morphed into the secular Baby New Year, according to Wood. The first child born on New Year's Day in Germany is called Neuhaus, baby.
I wonder what that translates to.
Isn't he the lead singer of Rammstein?
Yes, Neuhaus, baby. No, Neuhaus, baby.
Stupid. Oh, we're stupid.
Yes, we are. It's duly noted.
Goes without saying.
Got old Grandpappy 99 here. During the late 19th century, Baby New Year began appearing in newspaper cartoons and year-end editorials. In 1900, the Detroit Journal commented on the turn of the century with a drawing of an infant sitting on top of the globe crying as he tries to solve a math problem. Father Time, a.k.a. Old Granddaddy 99, or Old Granddaddy who's not my granddaddy, looks on with a grin. The poor kid isn't certain whether he's the last of the 19th or the first of the 20th century.
I didn't know
That's
you had...
why Y2K happened.
Oh, shucks.
Where
that's
did you
cute.
find that picture of Michael?
He shared it. This is one of the 5 pictures that he has on Instagram.
Michael does have some weird Instagram pictures. I'm pretty sure there's just like a piece of fucking toast.
So
I
it's
honestly
toast with a
don't know
hole in
what
the middle?
I have on my Instagram.
Butt-haired bread. So, billion-dollar babies. Baby New Year graduated from newspaper cartoons to magazine covers in 1906 when the Saturday Evening Post published its first holiday illustration of a toddler by artist Joseph Christian Leyendecker. He continued drawing cherubs through 1943, reimagining Baby New Year as an emblem of American resilience. Early on, Leyendecker drew classical pictures of red-cheeked kids with angel wings, but as the world grew more complex, he added darker elements depicting Baby New Year as a soldier, woman's suffrage activist, striking coal miner, serial killer, nervous stockbroker, and heroic tax cutter.
That whole sentence, the description and all, bullshit.
I just threw in serial killer because I thought it would be
Do they
funny,
sell
but,
these as figurines? Like, could you get a collector's pack of, like, Baby New Year dressed up as all these things?
If only. That would have been marvelous marketing on their part, which is probably why print is dying slowly. But no, all of that was true.
Okay.
Huh.
Sadly. In 1936, when it seemed like the economy was gaining strength after years of decline, Leyendecker drew a top-hatted toddler showered with confetti. Although the recovery didn't last, the image was indelible. Okay, how much do I want to deal with this? Okay, I've only got 3 more here. We'll survive. Coney Island Baby.
Oh,
Giant puppet versions of Baby New Year and Father Time dueled to the death in Brooklyn in 2015 as Coney Island sideshow performers presented a vaudevillian revue called New Year's in Heaven. It's an avant-garde answer to the Times Square ball drop, featuring the literal destruction of holiday icons, according to Dick Zygun, co-creator of the piece. During the show, mythical characters and superheroes tear into Baby New Year and Father Time, so the puppets are reborn as confetti.
Did you find
Okay.
any video evidence of this? I'm so curious.
I'm going to have to look it up, but no, I didn't delve that greedily into this. Some of this I'm not sure I want to see.
It'll last
fair.
with you. It'd be like tit cups all over again.
Please no. The sound alone haunts my dreams like the painted man, so...
Is there no sun in this cursed country?
I'm glad that it's still, to this day, I keep making Robin Hood references just to crack John up. There's no other human being on the planet that appreciates or acknowledges these,
Oh,
but I'm
man.
just going to keep doing it. Fuck me, made it.
First time I ever heard the F word in a PG-13 movie. Risky.
It made me very happy. God bless that Christian Slater, as opposed to the Christian Stitcher. Stop the presses. It's a tradition for newspapers to spotlight babies born on January 1st. The task of locating the year's first child has grown more complex, naturally. In the past, hospitals publicized birth announcements, but these days, many healthcare facilities have ceased sharing info with the media because of concerns about identity theft and privacy on the internet.
Isn't this like the plot of Umbrella Academy?
I don't know, I haven't seen it yet.
Oh. That was a
I
joke.
know.
It didn't land because no one here has seen it.
Nope.
It's on my wish list
Damn it.
or my view list or whatever. I don't know what you call it. Netflix.
I'm keeping Victoria's secret, don't mind me. And then the final in this installment, Night Terrors. The irreverent animated series Robot Chicken on Adult Swim introduced a murderous version of the youngster in 2014. A segment called Baby New Year, Resolution Enforcer, depicts a vengeful toddler who magically materializes at a New Year's Eve party and stabs a man for taking a sip of champagne seconds after he vowed to swear off alcohol.
Is that bullshit?
That is not bullshit.
I want to see that clip.
I'm glad it is not.
Yes. So that, friends and listeners, is a brief foray into the debacle that is Baby New Year.
I gotta Google a picture of this fucking thing.
Oh my goodness.
All right.
I have no stabs.
I'm stabbing myself.
Well, then you're not the vengeful Baby New Year.
Nope.
Oh my god,
Kudos
he's
for
terrifying.
That. Isn't he, though?
Cool.
Cherubic little murder monster.
Oh, I think maybe we can share it. I'll send this to the group, but so you can put it in the show notes. But here's Baby New Year
Oh no!
for 2021.
Well, I'm glad he's masked up and social distancing.
Wearing a mask, wearing a Abe Lincoln top hat, and he's got his little snack pack affixed to his butt.
Why is he so ugly?
Well, it's 2020.
He's sitting right there, Courtney. You can't.
Excuse you?
Well, that was fun, and
no, it wasn't. Don't you fucking lie to me, John.
He doesn't need.
So
your
we got
pity.
one of three.
You got one of three. So the first lie, which leads into the third lie, is that according to some Christian scholars, the festively clad infant's history may hold a more tragic meaning than we typically attribute to it. That is not true at all. So you did catch the Christian mythos about Moses being discovered by the Pharaoh's daughter floating in a basket in the reeds. I just made that correlation myself. It's, the Christians do tend to steal from everybody else's cultures and just sort of co-opt it in whatever way suits them.
It's called a melting pot.
I forget.
Shane?
I'm sorry. Yeah, well, I wish I had some pot. During the... Okay. Now, the third lie is about 4 paragraphs long.
It's the...
and I will indicate that the entirety of the thing about, Christ and the biblical scholars having the attribution to, the Feast of the Holy Innocents and reminding everybody that all these babies died for Christ to make it out into the world. None of that has anything to do with Baby New Year. I attributed it falsely to Pope Leo XIII from 1891, certain that someone was going to call me out that you couldn't have a pope named Leo, but they have multiple times. 13, in fact, as of 1891. So yes, none of that is true.
Okay.
I
yeah, when you were calling me out, ex-little Catholic boy that I am, you can tell that I am Catholic because I didn't know that was a lie.
I had no idea.
Yeah. Because one thing that we know about Catholicism and Catholics is that they know a lot but remember little.
Well, in truth, the Feast of the Holy Innocents is a thing. It is celebrated on the 28th of December. That Pope didn't establish it. That is just something that has been, passed down through the ages. But it has nothing to do with Baby New Year at all. It just so happens that the 28th of December was close enough that I thought I could whip it in there.
And you did.
Dredge all this up.
Yeah,
and
you did.
Attributed to an actual existing scholar. So Philip C. Almond does exist in the wild, and he is, in fact, the emeritus professor of the history of religious thought at the University of Queensland. He just doesn't care much about Baby New Year at all. Okay. I actually was quoting him because I was doing some research on the Antichrist, and he wrote a very lengthy article about all of the scriptural references of the Antichrist, and the Baby New Year was almost the Antichrist based on what I was researching, and then I kind of had to flip the script because it would have been far more insidious to think that was what this was going to be foretelling, so we changed it a little.
Well
slightly.
Done.
So murdered infants as opposed to, destroying the world.
It's good stuff.
But now you teased me with a good Antichrist episode.
Well, there's nothing that says I will not use the information that I gathered and bring it out again at a later date and a letter date.
You're gonna whip it out at a later
yes.
date?
You won't notice, I guarantee. It's a letter Kenny. So thankfully, to prevent me from passing out, I kept it semi-short this evening.
Yeah, you lucked out that you, or did you trim that topic down, or did it just happen around the
You
same
said
time?
that at the beginning, John, that he was keeping it sparse to allow for conversation.
Yeah, hey, if you could put that dick back in your mouth. Didn't say that you're done yet. No, I was trying to ask Shane a question that wasn't that, but thanks for interrupting. Courtney? No, so was it originally longer and then you trimmed it down, or it was trimmed down the entire time?
It was trimmed down the entire time. I expected that we would want to have, some topical divergence here, and there's only so much that I was willing to chat about an infant parading around to celebrate the coming of a new year.
Yeah, you gotta add a trigger warning if you get past that, so well done.
And how?
Yeah, what is this, the first episode without a trigger warning in a month?
I mean, I did talk about a bunch of murdered infants, but
that's part of the course.
I didn't go into graphic detail.
Well, I'm excited.
How many times were they stabbed?
I was going to say, speaking
7.
of violence, I am very excited to show some clips to you guys on After Dark. Because,
well, I mean, we want to include the soundtrack, right?
Oh, yeah. For
So-
one of them, yes.
Yeah, so I mean, I would say that means we would probably need to watch it here so that we can keep it included, unless,
No, we can have one sound bite in After Dark. It'll just be copyright claim.
Oh,
No,
it
there's
Doesn't
no
matter.
like music in it or anything, unless you include the sound of someone getting the soul slapped out of their body as a soundtrack.
I would copyright claim that if I could.
I mean, we have. That's our first 2 records, as I recall.
The other clip that I want to show, Michael already knows because he's active on Reddit and Twitter and what have you. But Courtney,
Twitter.
you know the
Never heard of her.
the Twisted Lemon trending right now, right?
I've seen a couple memes, but I don't know anything about it past
Okay.
a few memes that I've seen.
What you talking about, Liz Lemon?
Close. So there is some janky ass lanky white dude in a gas station who is dropping some big words in front of a black dude, and the black dude's like, hey, maybe not use that word, and the white dude decides to double down and ask this guy where he's from while still dropping the N-word profusely, and the guy is holding spiked twisted lemon,
The
or it's the
twisted tea?
hard
Twisted
Twisted
tea.
tea.
Yes.
Thank you, Twisted Lemon. Fuck. He's holding the twisted tea can, and the white dude does something. So I'm describing the video, and we're gonna see it because you have to see it.
Yeah. Yes.
He does the typical, like, he leans down and says, "Well, fucking you gonna hit me, bro? Fucking hit me, bro!" Like, and puts his face out, and the guy retorts by hitting him in the face with the can of twisted tea so hard that the twisted tea can explodes. And then beats the shit out of the guy for being a fucking racist piece of shit. So it's a good watch.
You keep running that dick like I'm gonna give you the mouth babies.
Oh my god, we haven't had that in forever. Mouth babies.
Yeah, that's right. I'm gonna give you the mouth babies.
Why is that? So, one, Tracy Morgan's still alive, right?
Yeah. Uh-huh.
Okay,
Yeah.
it got hairy there for a second, but he's still
Yes.
kicking.
He's got that diabetes.
No, didn't he get into like
He's in
a
a car
vicious car
accident.
accident?
He got in a really
Yeah.
bad car. Yeah.
Yeah, but he's got that diabetes.
Don't we all? What is that from? Is that just 30 Rock? The mouth babies thing? What was the...
No, that is actually Jay Moore doing an impression
Okay.
of Tracy Morgan.
Because that used, when we first started hanging out, and when the band first started, or like first got put together, like that was the like original inside quote for a very good long while, and I forgot about it.
Hashtag mouth babies was a real
It
thing
was.
for a good long while. Well, speaking of babies, thank you all for being here for our edition of Baby New Year, who did not manifest in your mouths this fun holiday season.
Hopefully not.
But hopefully it managed to manifest in your hearts.
Yeah,
As that's how you give a blowjob, John.
it's not with your mouth; it's with your heart.
Indeed.
Now get on your knees
Well,
and put that heart to work.
Thank you all for being here with us for another glorious calendar year of the Disinformed podcast. We sincerely appreciate your patronage, and we hope that you continue to dial in every single wonderful week. And if you need a little help in doing so, you want the occasional reminder, we got some socials that you can check in on. If you are an archaic uncle grandpa like myself, you may occasionally utilize that book of faces. And so we're there at facebook.com/disinformed podcast. If you are one of those hep cats that enjoys using the grams that are Instas, you can find us there at, at Disinformed Podcast. And of course on the Twitters at Disinformed Pod. Tweeter. And every single wonderful Wednesday, we are on the tubes of you hurling our fine feathered fiction as we do our fanfic reads of the Hogwarts School of Prayer and Miracles for your eager ears and greedy mouths, just like a Weasley, begging with your hands full. Ooh. And then, fantastically, on Friday, we find you back at the Tubes of You, where we have a companion video cast to this marvelous episode called Disinformed After Dark, where we will decompress after the topic, let our files load, and dive into the Chuck Klosterman School of Hypotheticals, which is now going to be amended and expanded, thanks to my marvelous girlfriend. So you have something to look forward to.
You got a little holiday gift there, huh?
I did indeed. Someone is more invested in this podcast than us. Bless her.
No shock.
Yeah. And awesome. So, you can find us 3 fantastic days a week. If you have not already done so, please like and subscribe to this fabulous podcast on your preferred podcast provider app, because we love you. We need you. And if you dig what we do, please rate and review. There's stuff about smashing buttons that Michael will get to when we get the video rolling.
Speaking of Michael and his social medias, Michael did also share a new profile that he's made. He has infiltrated Parler. So if you want to follow him and find him on Parler, that's going to be parler.com/cuckedbygod, Patriot1.
Oh, I thought we were going to have the OnlyFans page of Daddy Who's Not My Daddy, the first one that was rolled out. But you've gone Parler.
Yeah, I think OnlyFans is next. But if he did the Daddy That's Not My Daddy, I think it would be really funny for you to start an OnlyFans page, Michael, where you do take videos of yourself out and about, just walking up to children, going, "I'm not your dad," and walking away. And then you sell each video for 99 cents.
I just want Michael, like, awkwardly talking into a camera at someone going, like, "You've been a bad girl."
Oh, no.
Bad girls get spankings.
What, are you going to have him do, like, Jill-off instruction videos?
Yes.
I would try. I would fail, but...
Yeah,
hey,
you
if I get a good laugh,
to work. Flick that bean and smash that clip button.
I was hoping he would go more to the let's get physical kind of end of just like, oh yeah, objects at rest tend to stay at rest.
Ooh. Oh, don't get me started. Unless acted upon by an outside force.
Yeah, and objects in
force,
motion
baby.
tend to stay in motion, and that's me.
Looks like
all
Courtney has
long.
left the chat. Courtney has left the chat. And
just how dry do you want it? I'll bore you to tears, and then use them as lubricant to get myself done.
Courtney has just spent the better part of the last 5 minutes rolling her eyes so aggressively she got COVID twice.
Wow. Well, I got a squeegee I can clean it up with. Give me 5 seconds, I'll get it.
We know what you do with squeegees.
Ladies and gentlemen.
We don't want
Yes,
anything to do with
indeed.
that.
I wipe the tears away from your face when we're finished.
That's Courtney's way of saying pass.
Yeah, I'm trying to pass. That's just, kidney stones. Anywho, ladies and germaphobes, I believe that is going to wrap it up like a baby sash tied around a little newborn. So for the Disinformed Podcast's glorious fucking funk fire of 2020, I'm Shane.
I'm John.
I'm Michael.
I'm Courtney.
So long, and good year.
So long and good year.
That's pretty shitty. That's a tire.